All right, so we got the other channel rocking and rolling too. Try our best to keep the, yep. Got to try and keep the license plates out of the shot. Somebody got a little upset. So we got 2 cameras going today. We got the vertical stream here to try and attract some people, and then we got the GoPro stream coming off the main channel. So if you want more detailed pictures, go over there, okay? I'm gonna do my best to humor you vertical streamers, but I'm a horizontal guy. So, if I don't stop to answer questions in the chat, I hope that somebody can answer them for you. That's not good. I generally do all my chat answering questions when I take a break, because I'm a working guy. I got work to do. So I hope that you all can understand that. If you're not sure what's going on, I'm sure somebody in the chat's going to fill you in. Right now, I thought I had everything I needed, but I think I'm missing one thing. Let's see if I got her. Aha. Is it the red one? Might be a red one. It's either the red or the green one. That says C. That says B. All right, we're gonna make that work. These, nothing walks away faster from me than these Lyle fill bucket radiator adapters. I tell you what. Pain in the butt, folks. Pain in the butt. So the story is, this gentleman has bought a Forester. It's a turbo Forester, and he wants some peace of mind. Ideally, all this stuff is what you're gonna want to do before you buy the car. So let's just say he's married to it. What we're going to be doing is what I just call engine shakedown, or proper term could be called engine analysis. We're going to get a 5-gas analyzer on the car. We're going to see what the emissions look like. We're going to be doing relative compression tests with the oscilloscope. Then we're going to do a hard compression test with traditional equipment, and then a leak down test. I have been authorized to go ahead and just replace plugs while I'm in there, which is a good decision because you're already paying all this labor to pull plugs out. Why not just put fresh ones in, because we don't know what's in this car. Now, first thing I'm seeing, as soon as I take this radiator cap off, because I was suspicious of the radiator immediately because it had an aftermarket cap, so I want to know what happened to the OEM cap, because the radiator is not aftermarket, but the cap is. So that's just kind of weird. There's already some smooth sitting on our cap. Smooth. That looks like some sort of stop leak. And Subaru used to, well, they still do. They sell this blue bottle of death, as I call it, labeled as engine conditioner for the coolant system. That was formulated way back in the day with the EJ series of the engines, like 90s, mid 2000s, okay? When, yeah, Subarus did have some head gasket issues. All right? Don't want to go down that road. We're past it. The FAs and the FBs have fantastic head gaskets. We're just going through some cam carrier leak problems right now, but that can be contributed to not doing your oil changes on time. It's another discussion. So let's go ahead and get set up with what I want to do. Let's get this transformer shield off of here, which is not fun, by the way. It's very, very easily broken because it just has these rubber nubs holding onto a bracket, and they like to get stuck in there when the rubber gets brittle and hard from dry rot and age, and these always break. Why did they go to that design? Well, probably because it was cheap and easy to install at the factory. You always got to keep that in mind when you're assessing why a manufacturer does one thing or another. Anything that can make these cars go together faster, they're going to do it. They're not on the mindset of long-term repair, okay? They don't care about the mechanics too much. We got a 5-gas analyzer hooked up right now. I'm going to go ahead and warm up the vehicle. When doing all this information, it's always, when doing our compression test, I like to have a warmed up engine. Okay, I don't like doing these cold unless there was a specific problem at cold start. Before we get going on that, I think I will just go ahead, get the scope going here, and let's just go ahead and knock out the relative compression test, because that is super easy. We can do this with any regular scope, okay? I'm going to be using Snap-on equipment just because that's what I have available to me. Scope, lab scope, 4-channel scope. Now, you don't have to use these big expensive scopes. You could opt to go for these little pocket scopes sold by AES Wave. They're really nice. I got this nice little carry case for it from Jarhead Diagnostics. Takes about 3-4 weeks to get it in because he just makes them as you order them. But it's nice, a little 3D printed case, about 40 doll hairs. Let's jack into channel 1. I'm going to go ahead and set up channel 1 here for my clamp. This is not a Snap-on clamp. I'm going to be using a 400 amp clamp sold on the Mac tool truck, but you don't have to use Snap-on equipment if you get my drift. What is our formula here? 1 millivolt equals 1 amp. So I'm on a 5-volt scale. Let's go ahead and get off of that. A 500 millivolt scale is fantastic. And set up my trace. Tray. Oh. Trigger. None. Exit. I don't want to have any triggers on this. No filtering is required. This is an easy test. If you can reach to the back of the starter, that is the best place to do it. If not, then just go right for your negative battery cable. That's fine. All right. And the negative battery cable is the preferred location for the amp clamp, just because the power connection has a ton of branches that go off of it, so trying to get around all of those can be difficult for the platform or the vehicle that you're on. Negative works just fine. The angry pixies, they go both ways. So this vehicle has not been started yet today. It's been nice and cold. This vehicle is thankfully equipped with a clear flood mode, which means that I can put my foot all the way on the accelerator before I start it, and it'll just crank over continuously until I tell it to stop or it times out. Not all vehicles have this feature, and you might have to disable the ignition or the fuel system. All right. Hit stop. Analyze my waveform. If you can't see in the picture too well, I do have a battery tender on this, which is very, very important. Did I set my scope up right? Let me try a recapture. Don't know why that didn't work. All right. Oh. So I'm going to just test my equipment, see what's going on here. Make sure I'm set up correctly. Interesting. Hopefully my clamp isn't broken. Just hang tight for a sec, folks. Gotta troubleshoot my test equipment now. Okay, so she's zeroed out. Put my probies back in. Make sure my ground is good. Yeah, I should see. All right, so I'm seeing deflections. That's good. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's what I want to see. Stop. Record again. There we go. There we go. Now she's working. Good. Let's get her back on the right scale. 500 millivolts back. Let's try that again. Very good. Can I get some better resolution here? 200 is going to knock it off. 500 is about the best we're going to get. All right. And I'm going to drop my time just a little bit so I can get some more information. Stupid snap-on. You can't adjust settings in pause mode. Yeah, 1 second should be good. Start, record. Hit stop and let's look at what we got here. All right, we got some good intel. I like it. Bumped it up so you guys can see it. All right, I'm going to show the GoPro first, and then I'll get the vertical going. So here's what we're looking at right here. Hope you guys can see. But every pull of the starter is an amperage draw because the cylinder's making compression. So that means that the starter needs to work a little bit harder. I'm just looking for dropouts, okay? And I don't see any dropouts on here whatsoever. So everything's even across the board. Keep in mind that relative compression tests is not a PSI rating. There's no way to technically do that with just an amp clamp. This is just a relative, grain of salt. This is a quick look. So if you were ever suspicious of an engine having any kind of a compression issue, but you don't have the time or the tools to do a lot of teardown, you could do this with a couple $100 worth of technology, a little pocket scope and an amp clamp, okay? Vertical stream, here we go. So again, this is what we're looking at right here. Every hump on here on this waveform, right, that is the starter rotating the engine, and that is a piston coming up on TDC because it is causing resistance, so the starter has to work harder, all right? As the starter works harder, it pulls more amperage. So we're seeing the amperage pull here. All the humps are even. I'm not worried about everything. It means that everything is relatively even. That's good. I like to see that. If any one of these humps were lower than the other one, or there was just some basic unevenness, then what I would do is I would hook up another channel on my cylinder sync. Cylinder sync means that I'm going to plug into one of the ignition coils. So every time that ignition coil turns on, I'm going to know what cylinder on my pattern that is. Then I align it with the firing order of the engine. So on this particular engine, 1, 2, 3, 4 is the labeling of my cylinders. The firing order on this engine is 1324. So if I was back probed in here on this coil, which is cylinder number 2, I use that as my trigger. I see it on my waveform, and I go, okay, so one of these humps is off. I count off from cylinder number 2, and I found my potentially bad cylinder. That is a really, really quick and easy way to determine the integrity of an engine if you were concerned about compression. Now, is that the same as a leak down? No, a leak down is going to find more accurate information. We'll get to that later. Okay, I'm going to bring my 5-gas up now. And it's been running for a little while, so I'm going to go ahead and do a time to 0. I'll go ahead and 0 that baby out. That'll take about 30 seconds. Now, a lot of you might think, oh, 5-gas, that's a BS emissions thing. That's for emissions county and emissions states. No, that's wrong. This is a diagnostic tool. This is a really, really, really good and expensive diagnostic tools. purchased this one on my own. Okay? And I really, really wish more training centers and more shops would encourage the use of this for diagnostics, because this is fantastic for diagnosing oxygen sensor codes, misfire codes, rough idles, you name it. Shoot, if you go to a shop with a catalytic code and they don't own one of these, you might be getting a misdiagnosis. I'm not saying they are. There are ways to diagnose a catalytic, okay, without a 5-gas. I'm not saying they're in the wrong, but this tool is a fantastic way to determine you need to spend a few $1,000s on your car. So out of respect for the customer, I encourage shops to invest in one of these, because if somebody comes in with a P0420 code, the first thing we sell is what's called a P0420 test, or 421, okay, a catalytic test. And while we will look at the engine information to determine, to make sure that there's no misfires, we're going to look at our oxygen sensors, we'll look at the waveforms and all the PID data. We do all that, but this is raw information that is not interpreted by the engine computer and not skewed by any sensor. So this is a really, really great test. And I've had a lot of people thank me because they got quotes at other shops for $3,000–4,000 to get new catalytics put in their car. And then I go, no, it's just a $200 oxygen sensor. You got a lazy sensor. That is so much good reassurance, okay? And I see a lot of people sell their cars. They sell their cars because they get this code and they freak out. And I hate it when people just ditch these investments. The vehicles are huge investments. Take this off, I don't need it. Don't want to make anything angry. All right. Got to get a little bit loud in here. Now, obviously, in order for my 5-gas to do a good job, this engine does have to get warmed up, so I can't trust any of the readings that are coming out. Okay? And we'll go over what I'm looking for on this information, okay? You might also be wondering, hey, why does this guy got their coolant system opened up? Well, we're also going to be using the 5-gas to hover over this bucket once this gets warmed up, okay? Because we're going to be looking for exhaust gases, a potential head gasket leak, okay? All right, Juan's on the GoPro chat. Good to see you, Juan. Haven't talked to you in a long time, dude. Thanks for being a contributing member. Yeah, beauty covers do suck. That's Volo. Yeah, Volo, I just turned the amp clamp off and back on and then just re-zeroed it. It seems to be working just fine now. I field tested all my stuff before we went live, but hey, things happen on the startup. Oh, Juan's hanging out on both chats. Haha. Oh, Sierra on vertical. Yeah, man. We just kind of had a family emergency, and I had to just minimize responsibilities. So I just focused on work and paying medical bills. And I didn't have time for the YouTube. I really didn't want to have any distractions. So that's why I ghosted you all. Hey, it's Sergio, man. Yeah, man, I'm back. I'm feeling better. Hey, we're still waiting for this engine to warm up, so if you got questions, now's the time to ask, and I'll just kind of repeat myself in the meantime. Go ahead and give me some feedback. Let me know how the audio is, too. So basically, the gist of this is the customer is a little bit worried that maybe he bought a vehicle that has a potential mechanical problem. Maybe not. We're not too sure. So he wants an engine shakedown. He's kind of worried that maybe he's got a he's thinking maybe he's got like a lifter issue, a rocker roller maybe. We're not too sure. The engine's starting to get warmed up. The car is out of its warm-up mode, so you'll notice in the audio. Yeah, starting to hear something. What is this? This wasn't doing it the other day. There's like a little bit of chatter. It's not constant with engine rotation, which is weird. I'm going to do something real quick while it's making this noise, because we're going to go off track a little bit, just because I didn't hear this the last couple of days. Let's just rule something out right now. And let's get that belt off. Let's rule out this belt really quick, and we'll probably make some stuff angry in the meantime doing it. Ooh, and nice. This car does have a locking pin. Let me get my special tool, which is just basic leftover hardware from other vehicles. Thank you, donor car. Put that little bolt in there to hold the tensioner, so I can take this belt off. And then I'm going to show you exactly what I didn't do before I took the belt off. Okay, I'm going to put a arrow on this belt. Ta-da! Okay, just like that. That's the rotation of the belt as when I took it off, because that's how it wore in. Let's go ahead and restart the car. I'm probably going to get a battery light because it's not detecting the alternator moving. That'll be okay. Yeah. And give it a minute. It can run on the battery for about a minute. It'll be okay. No, it's coming back. Okay. All right. A little something kind of came back. All right, we'll keep that in the back of our mind. I'll try and echolocate that the best I can. I didn't hear anything on any of these front end pulleys, but still, taking the belt off, if it's easy, that's also just a really, really good way to expedite that theory. So the sound that I'm getting, it's like the sound that a power steering pump would make when it's a little low on fluid, but it's not constant. It's kind of in and it's kind of out. It does have a rhythm to it. It's just strange. It's a new one for me. So I'm trying to think of everything that would cause like an electric noise, like a servo trying to stay in position. All right. So I was looking at my throttle body, maybe if my throttle body was fluctuating, but he didn't come in with a drivability issue. So I don't want to focus too hard on throttle body. See that? I already screwed up. I broke my arrow on this belt and I already put the belt on backwards. Not happy about that. Okay. We're going this way. I'll try and listen to those oil control solenoids again. It's not a phaser. If anything, made these phasers a little bit touchy. They will definitely throw a hard code for that. Like I said, this is like some sort of like actuator or something that might be struggling. Could be a TGV valve. Nice. If my stethoscope can pin it down, then I can tell you what it is for sure. Alright, all my ribs are locked in on the water pump, AC compressor. Always double check your ribs as you get them. So if you found one off center and then they all look good, still double check them all. Man, I've had these things jump off. They can walk on you. And then after you take your pin out, we check them again. Everything's on track, because if these things are one rib off, they will slice. Okay, that setback is done. Let's go ahead and fire it back up. Seems to have gone away a little bit. Yeah, it came back. I heard it for just a second. You know what I'm betting it is? I don't think it's engine. I'm gonna throw my hat on the ring on a lucky guess. I think we might have I think the chain for the transmission oil pump might have a bearing on the transfer gear that's going out. I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring on that, because that is the only thing on this vehicle setup that can make that very similar power steering pump noise. And I've already fixed a few of those before from transmissions that ran on some low fluid. We should check the CVT fluid on this car. Yes, we should. Okay. We got the wrong radiator fluid in this. That explains something. That means the radiator's been replaced, which means this car has had some work done to it. Might have been a collision. I'm going to reset my data on my 5-gas. So let's go ahead and knock out this 5-gas before we get distracted under the car, because I want to talk about 5-gas. So the car is warmed up. It's already gone through its engine warm-up cycle. Looking at the temp gauge, we're at a beautiful 130 degrees. That's good enough. All right, that's good enough. So thankfully, this particular 5-gas, it is Bluetooth to a PC. So I can data log this and I can look for blips, because the screen on the handheld doesn't update that fast. So if there's any blips and I missed it, I can see all the graphed information right there. Or I can just go to a big digital readout like that. Okay, big digital readout, real nice. All right, so at idle we have 0 parts per million of hydrocarbon. That's excellent. That means that these cylinders are burning everything up. That's what I want to see. Okay, turn my little printer on. CO2, 15%, really good. No NO, no CO, no O2. That's fantastic. No O2. You see that? No O2. That means we're burning up all the oxygen. That's a good combustion. And we're holding a lambda of 1. Again, this is why I like 5-gas. I'm getting a real life lambda reading out of my tailpipe. This is critical. Yes, you can use scan tools to do lambda readings on vehicle, but that's a calculated reading that's coming from the ECM. If the ECM was getting lied to by an oxygen sensor, or if the ECM might have something wrong with it at all, it could lead you down a bad path. So that's why I rely on my 5-gas a lot in diagnostics, because I can confidently say, I got a known good value. All right? Known good value. So we'll go ahead, I'm going to print that out. All right, looks like the thermostat opened up a little bit, okay? I can tell you that the thermostat just opened up by, again, my graphed information. I just saw the blip, the change that happened on my 5-gas, okay? But I missed it, so I got my graphed information, okay? My graphed information. What did I pick up? Well, my lambda went rich, and I picked up some hydrocarbons. All right. CO2 went dramatically down. CO2 went from 15 to almost 6%. So during the engine warm-up cycle, the thermostat is closed, because we're concentrating all the coolant on the engine block, because that's the engine warm-up strategy. We want to get that engine really hot so we can burn fuel correctly. When it opened up, it allowed this coolant now that was not at the same temperature to be introduced into the engine. That rush of cold coolant caused a missed burn. But the engine didn't throw any kind of rich code, all right? No check engine light's gonna populate, because the engine knows that this is coming. The car is still on a warm-up cycle. Let's get the thermal imager. Oh, while I'm waiting for the thermal imager to power up, let me go ahead and just put a plug in for new opportunities for people who are members of the channel. I'm only asking for $1 because that's the minimum amount. I really don't want to charge you guys that much, but that's going to give you tech support with me through email. So if you have a question or concern, you're working on a car, or maybe somebody gave you a bid on a repair and you want me to fire back in an email, I'll answer it, okay? If you're a paying member, I'll answer it. I'm going to open up another tier pretty soon once I get rocking and rolling, okay? That's only going to be 5, but that's going to get you phone call support, so we can FaceTime, all right? And lastly, this goes back to the $1 support, and everything that's in the $1 support will go to the $5 membership, but we're only working with $1 here. Let me get to the point, okay? Big discount on diagnostic test equipment, okay? We're talking like $2,000 scanners, $2,000 jump boxes. How would you like to get those 70% off? Yeah, I'm gonna put you in connection with those people. This thermal imager here, $600 thermal imager. I got it for $50. I'm gonna put you in contact with those people, so when these big group buy deals come around, you can get in on it. So that's what your $1 is gonna get you. That's a good investment. I can't tell you what's gonna happen, what they're gonna bring out in the future, but I can tell you what they've already launched just in the last 12 months, okay? All those $100 top-down pocket scanners that link to your cell phones and your tablets, they were giving those away to us. Thermal imagers, $50. $200 jump boxes, $50. $2,000 scanner, I got it for $300. How about key fob trainers? Who's doing key fob training? Who's doing programming computers? Who's doing ADOS? Big discounts on that equipment. And right now, if you're a key programmer, they are trying to get some key programmers, so I would love to put you in touch with a key programmer. Is this a pyramid scheme? No, it's not. Do I get a little bit of a kickback from my vendor? Yes, I do. But we'll talk about it more. It's not a scam, I assure you. I wouldn't do anything that mean. All right. Upper radiator hose, 144 degrees. Lower radiator hose, 80 degrees. Uh-oh. I don't like that. This sucker's been warmed up for a while, guys. Let's get some more accurate information. Okay, this is the Launch X43 or X31. Great tool. Does a lot of stuff. This is the Pro Edition, so I can program computers with it. You can hook an oscilloscope up to it. You can hook up a sensor simulator to it. So many cool things. But what's got me concerned, what's going on? Now, it could be, I shouldn't read into it too much right now. All right, because I don't have the radiator cap on. Radiator cap there is just to help the system from overboiling. But obviously I can't let it warm up with the radiator cap on and then take it off, because it'll just geyser and kill me with second-degree burns. Believe me, if you've never had a second-degree burn from a boiling liquid, whew, you don't know what you're missing. Them some fun times. Fun times. You take that shit seriously. I'm going to go in the generic OBD. Read live data. Let's get some temps going here. It's going to let me search for the PID. Engine oil temp. Engine coolant temp. Let's throw in ambient air. Alright, it says my engine coolant is 181 degrees. Yeah, I see the hot liquid coming out. That's what I like about the thermal imager. So my bucket, 140. No way, really? Come on, baby. 226 on the upper radiator, huh? Nah, 166. I teach you all about emissivity on your thermal imagers, okay? The thermal imagers, they can lie to you a little bit if you don't know how they read information. Let's go ahead and test the water pump. Now, a quick and dirty way to test our water pumps is after the system is warmed up, the thermostat is potentially opened up, okay? We're going to give her a snap throttle, and we're going to see the liquid in the bucket jump. Hey, we got some air out of her too. Let me check this heater core. Just make sure that this coolant system got burped correctly. Yeah, we got bubbles, baby. Lots of bubbles. Okay, my heater core is blowing some warm air. That's good. Let's go ahead and get out of generic OBD. Let's go into manufacturer OBD now. Five gas has to re-zero. Let's go ahead and let it re-zero. Go to dash. Yeah. All right, I'll set up the Zeus so that the GoPro people can see what's going on there. Sorry, vertical stream. You guys don't always get the best benefits. So, like I said, if you want all the good details, go to the horizontal channel. I know vertical's fun. All right. Back on the scan tool, I'm going to go to special function here. Yeah, see that AC compressor, I don't know if you can hear it. It sounds nasty. Actuator test. Idle speed control. And I'm going to command the throttle with my tool electronically to go to 1500 RPM. There it is. Like fucking Star Trek. We're going to see if we get any more bubbles out of here. Hit stop. Let's go to 2000. Let's crank it up. At 2000 RPM, we're still holding one lambda. I like that. Find out where did Joe set the thermal. Here's the thermal. Lower hose, 85, but it's just warming up with engine heat. Upper hose, 150. I'm looking for at least like 110 on the lower. Getting a lot of bubbles out of that bucket. More bubbles. Kind of got me worried, folks. Why is there so much air in this car? I need to get a special tool. Special tool is a binder clip. Come on, little buddy. We do not want our analyzer tip to get contaminated with liquid here, because if it does, bad things happen. Usually involves a very expensive recalibration. How did I do this last time? Did I do it with 2 binder clips? I might have done it with 2 binder clips. Yeah, that's how I did it last time. Aha. Double binder clips. Alright, gotta go back to the graph information. I gotta reset my live data. So that way if I pick up any hydrocarbons from that air that's getting burped out of the coolant, then I know I have a leaky head gasket. Got some bubbles coming out. No activity on the graph. Nothing but oxygen. Uh-oh. We just picked up some CO2. Just a blip of CO2. Okay, then it went down. Let me just do a thought experiment, okay? Because think back to when that reading of CO2 just populated. Okay? When did it happen? It happened when I went with my mug down here and I was talking out loud. And if I breathe on that probe, it might pick up my breath, because what do you exhale? CO2. Checking the sensitivity. So I'm just going to keep talking over this exhaust gas, and I'm going to see if I trigger another CO2 level. But it doesn't look like I'm going to do it. A little micro radiator leak. A little blip. So we got that blip on the screen after doing a few rev ups. And then everything settled. Now the 5 gas isn't a really powerful pump. So we're going to bring in a much more sensitive CO2 leak detector. And these suckers aren't cheap too. I'm gonna have to cover my mouth because just exhaling can set this damn thing off. I got a ceiling fan on. Let me turn the ceiling fan off. Mute that for a second. Okay, then we also got to take into account too this car that's been idling in here, okay? Look it up. It's like 30 degrees outside. And yes, should I be ventilating my shop? Maybe. Maybe. Let's go ahead. Let's blow out any CO2 that was lingering around in the stall. Okay. From the top. Again, I gotta cover my mouth. All right. So here's the other thing you have to know about using the CO2 leak detector. If you leave it in a contaminated area too long, it's going to re-zero in that contaminated area, okay? It just picked up where I was breathing. Son of a bitch. Let's try this again. Big breath. Now this thing just beeps when it sees stuff, but it can't give me an accurate parts per million like my 5-gas can. My 5-gas will give me a breakdown in parts per million. But this little handheld one, this thing is stupid sensitive. Now, I still saw some air bubbles in that bucket. Get my noodle out here and look at that bucket. Folks, my water ain't jumping anymore. My water is not jumping. GoPro, I don't know if you can see that, but let me bring you in for a shot. Vertical, you get to stay where you're at because you're vertical. Vertical people get picked on, by the way. It's not personal. I just like taking cheap jabs at you guys. Alright. Do the thing. Nope, I can't get you there. Let me see if I can get you there. Yeah, I think you guys can see the lower. Maybe I can shove you in there. Oh, that's beautiful. There you go. Just take it like that. We're going to see if that water level jumps. Because if that water level ain't jumping, that means that we have a malfunctioning water pump. Right? We got bubbles. We got a dead water pump. Or a weak one. One of the two. I think I'm done playing around with that mess. She was jumping before, but now she ain't. That gives me a lot of good information, you know? Because if that water ain't moving, that means that we got heat stuck in the block. And if we got heat stuck in the block, then that means that we're going to have some problems. Hey, look at that. Now I got 180 degrees on the bottom line. And I got 180 on top. And I picked up some carbon monoxide now on my data logger. Take a screenshot of that. All right, so we've picked up so far CO2 and carbon monoxide. Not good. I'm gonna go ahead and start the car one more time. More bubbles in the bucket. Okay, now I like where my hoses are at. I'm going to try the snap throttle again. Hoses 180, hoses 180. So hoses are equalized now. I'm not getting motion in the bucket. I'm gonna call that water pump dead. What do y'all think? You agree with that test? Man, I like that test. Somebody out there has to like that test, right? Now, I said I also wanted to check my CVT fluid level. I might have spent too much time with the engine on, and now I got the fluid level too hot. Let's see what the temperature of that is, because there's a very specific range. Oh, look. Hey, more carbon monoxide just popped up. See what I'm looking at, GoPro? It's the blue stuff. Blue stuff, bad. Yeah, I hate giving this news. And I wonder if this radiator replacement is on a Carfax. So I didn't get my Carfax because I didn't think I needed one. So I guess you guys look for a community update, so I'll put it in the community on my channel. So subscribe to the channel so you remember where to find me. And tomorrow at about 9 Central Standard Time. All right, you'll see an update because I gotta wait for the person to get in and run the Carfax. I don't have the login for it, otherwise I'd just do it now. I'm going to see if this car has ever had a front-end collision, or if it had any other kind of work done at another shop. ATF temp. Okay. What are we? 160. I think that's a little too high. Let me double check my service data, okay? While I'm in there, I'll just scrub through anything in the chat. Oh, Juan's saying that the mic is unstable on the GoPro. Man, I'm sorry. I don't know why it's doing that. You know, I had it on my shirt collar right there, so my beard was over top of it. Here, I'll do this. Let me know if it's better now. All right, so let's get some service data here. Transmission. Inspection. Yep, I'm way too hot. 113 Fahrenheit. 95 to 113 Fahrenheit is the inspection. Uh-oh. Okay, Midwest says that the GoPro voice is sounding good. Okay, there you go. So, I don't know what it was. You guys, maybe the microphones were getting kind of goobly gobbly. Holy crap, look. We keep picking up some carbon monoxide in that bucket. So that means it's drifting out of the system. We got a really, really tiny head gasket leak. Really tiny. So look at it run through the cool down. Oh, now it's really flooding out. 0.01% carbon monoxide. Very, very small numbers. Screenshot. And let's go ahead and print. Holy shit. What did I just pick up? I just picked up hydrocarbons now. My printer run out of batteries? I got 2 minutes to 0 for my gauge here. There it goes. It's not good, guys. Shit. Let's see if anything floats out of that bowl. We only got 1 more minute before the 5 gas needs to reset. And there we go again. We're picking up some more stuff. One part per million hydrocarbon. So that means we do have we do got some combustion gases hanging out in the exhaust. Okay, enough sad moments. Everyone's yelling about my Michael's unstable. Oh yeah, Jordan, so yeah, that is sometimes this boom mic right here, yeah, it kind of gives that little bit of artificial voice, and that's just the noise canceling from it. This thing noise cancels so well I can use an impact as I take off tires and people can't hear it. So, sorry. Just do a quick 30-second re-zero. We'll see if we catch anything else in there, because we got to still let some things cool down a little bit before we can start getting into the engine. So, if you've been following along all this time, I think our water pump just pooped out. Alright, we're back up. Because a really, really dependable test that I do to check my water pump's function has been working well for me for like the 10 years. Is I put my fill bucket on, I get the engine rip-roaring hot, snap the throttle, and the level in the bowl should jump. Like, you should almost see like a little mini geyser. You get the same kind of effect when you squeeze a radiator hose. That movement, I should see movement in the bowl, and I'm not getting that. Yep, and just doing that, picked up some more carbon monoxide. We don't want those in our coolant. Alright, so we had a lot of air in the system. We don't have moving water. All bad things. We can go ahead and shut this off now. I think we're done with it. So, some of you might be wondering, could we have used one of these? Huh? Yeah? Seen these before, right? This is another type of hydrocarbon detector. All right? You put a special fluid in here that reacts to combustion gases. Now, the one thing I can't figure out, I've been emailing the vendor who makes the fluid, and I'm asking what specific gas triggers the chemical reaction. Is it CO2? Is it hydrocarbon? And they were kind of like, what? Now, I know it does react to CO2, because if you take this to a tailpipe on a car and you bring in some exhaust gases, yeah, like, it'll start changing. So if anybody knows all the specific gases these little things react to, I'd like to know. But anyhow, in place of the fill bucket, I would put one of these, and then I would draw the gases out of the system. It takes not a substantial leak, but it does take an actual like gurgly type of leak to start making this change color. So again, that's kind of why I like the 5 gas, because we were seeing some really small traces there. I'm getting cold. I'm shutting my door. Now I'm going to drink my water because I'm parched. I wonder if this coolant is even the good stuff. Doesn't work well with glasses. All right. Let's get a little sample here. There we go. No, this is really, really thinned out. Neg 20. So this coolant isn't mixed correctly. I mean, neg 20 will get you to a lot of places, don't get me wrong. But any basic 50-50 mix, that should be like in the neg 40s. Alright, so let's get all the expensive toys out of the way so we don't break anything, because this stuff ain't cheap. So I'm going to be checking the hose here and the overflow reservoir, and I'm just pretty much just running it through the predetermined hole that is there. It's not sticking, it's not catching, it doesn't feel sticky, it's not swelling. I'm just doing that to see if there was any oil that has gotten into the coolant, because this will be the first sign that you got engine oil mixing in your coolant, or you did it one time. this hose will get very, very swollen, very, very gooey and sticky, like soda pop sticky. So when cars come into the shop and I see that, I'll be like, have you had engine work before? I don't remember. Well, you would. It'd be a multi-$1,000 bill. You would remember that. And then we run a couple of tests on their vehicle, and I would be like, yep, we got some stuff mixing. So let's get to the rest of the party. We got to a huge tangent there. Found a lot of information. Exit. I left the scan tool plugged in so it detected the power loss. So with this little bit of carbon monoxide and hydrocarbon we discovered in the coolant gases, could you still drive this car? Yeah, this car might still make it like 3 days, 3 years, 30,000 miles. I've run this test before and people have driven another year, because the coolant system is pretty self-regulating and it's not getting by enough to cause any kind of problems, but eventually it does. They come in and they say, hey, my radiator popped. I'm like, yep, I did warn you. I think my favorite part is when folks ask how long they can drive on it, or what's the worst that could happen if they drive on it. And I tell them, I says, well, right now you only need a part of an engine repaired. Later on, you might need a lot of an engine repaired. Like, I don't know. Ooh. It's got some mustard on her. I don't think we're going to find any low compression, and I don't think we're going to find any low compression, and I don't think we're going to find any problems on the leak down test. But we're going to do it nonetheless, because we're putting spark plugs in it regardless. Yes, this engine is a little bit warm. Alright, always checking for oil on my coil packs. Nothing there. Get my light on so I can see. Number 4 is always fun to try and get out. And it's because they don't give you a lot of room to manipulate the harness, but there is a body clip on the block, you can generally maneuver it out of the way. If not, then we have to get some help. We're going to use one of these. Just ever so nicely, we're just going to kind of wall fisher in there. And I would like a better flashlight. Oh yes, I can see it now. Just be really careful not to dork up the harness at all. Make sure you're getting your spade in there correctly, and it's out. All right, we're done. Now, number 4 coil pack is just going to kind of move out of the way. Ta-da! Spark plug socket. Looking for a spark plug socket. Is that a 14? That is a 14. Yeah. That's an old plug. It's got your basic carbon buildup on it. Little brown tinge. Not too bad. The plug didn't come out. Why don't the plug come out? Rubber grommets in there. Okay, Mr. Magnet. It's one of my favorite magnets here. It's a little finger condom. It's got a little magnet in it. Spark plugs are supposed to be magnetic, aren't they? Yes, they are. Just checking. It's just rolling around in there. There it is. Looks about the same. Keep those there. All right, we got to get the other side disconnected now. Just going to partially remove some of the air box out of the way so I can get my speedy little tools in there. That's enough room. Come on, honey. There we go. Number 1 out. Number 3's out. With number 3, we don't have to do the harness trick. Ooh, it's warm. You bringing a spark plug with you? Yes, you are. That one's got a lot of carbon on it. Normal. Nothing to poke at there. Very normal. Very normal. Time is it? 6:33. Let's get the old camera going here. I've been happy with this Depstic, D-E-P-S-T-I-C-H. It's the wireless one that talks to your tablets, and it's got a lens on the front and the side. They advertise it for usually like $80, but if you leave it in your Amazon shopping account cart, I bought mine for $50 because I just let it stay there. And then Amazon was like, there is a price drop. What's annoying though about this thing is sometimes this camera connects automatically, sometimes I gotta remind it to do its job, but I don't argue too much for $50. The best ones are the standalone ones. I had a standalone one. It was just a little cheap little $70 one. Lasted for years. I eventually just wore out the cable, snaking it through things. No way. Did I get in the cylinder on the first try? Like, I wasn't even paying attention, guys. Yeah, holy crap. Dude, I should go buy a lotto ticket. Play with my brightness a little bit. Oh yeah. You guys see what I'm looking at? Looks pretty clean in there. What is that right there? Oh. Hello, sir. What are you? I don't know what you are. I'm trying to keep the camera in a position so I can bring it to you and show you. Is that a piece of carbon in there? Oh, no, that's normal. Okay, never mind. It's just a shadow. Yeah. It's playing tricks on me. So I do want to rotate my engine a little bit so I can get a better view of my piston. .22. If anybody's wondering how much all these tests cost, the answer is kind of not cheap. Well, I think it's a bargain. I mean, to the average consumer, you would probably say, holy crap, that's a ripoff. But, you know, when you're trying to find a diamond in the rough, and you want to make sure your investment's good, yeah, you might have to throw a few $100 at it. Okay? So we got the price of the regular tune-up. Then we have additional diagnostic time for doing the emissions test on the exhaust, doing it on the radiator, taking pictures of all the cylinders, making sure there's no scratching on the walls. I mean, all this goes into a binder, folks. That is a really, really clean piston, by the way. That is the cleanest direct injection piston I have ever seen. Just look at that. Just look at it. Direct injection. That thing should be carbon fouled like a mofo. So either the previous owner was like very, very, very good at doing top engine cleaner services, which I doubt. Most people have to have their arm twisted or they come in with their engines half clanking because of carbon buildup. It's very rare that somebody just shows up and says, I want this, because I heard Joe talk about it, and he heard it's good for my engine. Alright, so all my lottery money luck just went out the door because now I can't get this camera lined up. I got it. Alright. Looks like we got another clean piston. God, those are clean cylinders. Now you might be asking me, asking yourself, why would I be worried about really clean cylinders? Why would I be worried? Well, we could give the previous owner the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they did believe in top engine cleaners. Maybe they did get top engine cleaners, okay? They believed in it, or they were convinced to get it, and they got them diligently. But if we got a little bit of coolant getting in here, that coolant's going to steam clean these suckers. All right. Yeah, valves look good. Alright, going into the last cylinder. Cameras, we're getting good pictures on the camera. They all look like the first one I showed you, okay? So it's getting pretty late, and we got to start making some big progress because we spent a lot of time with that coolant system. All right. Got our photos. Yeah, if you don't have a borescope, I do really recommend this one. The light power on this thing is amazing. The bang for the buck is really good. I had that Calvan one for a little while, and that Calvan one just sucks. Though, yeah, it's a really tiny small one, but the picture quality sucked. This is the 5.5 millimeter one. It fits in spark plug holes, and that's all I wanted to do. Okay, let's get moving with the compression now, because I'm getting tired. We are going to use a cool tool here. We got a digital compression gauge. It's wireless. It's this big, stupid, expensive snap-on one called the EEP V700. This thing was advertised as the bee's knees years ago. And I read about it in articles, and I was like, that's going to be the coolest thing ever. I'm going to like it. And you'll see why I like it. Okay? I mean, it's pretty slick for what it does as a standalone device. Keep that big word in there. Those big words. Standalone device. There are other things that can do it just like this. But they're not standalone. They require like maybe a PC setup. Like if you have a picoscope, you can do this. You don't need to buy this. Like if you're into laptop oscilloscopes, you don't need to get this thing. And back then I wasn't into laptop oscilloscopes. So I thought that this was a really cool setup because this will do pressure and vacuum, and it Bluetooths to my device, and it gives me a nice little consolidated report. I thought that was pretty cool. Ooh, the downfall of this is, and you won't see it in this test, but when I start experimenting with it is, it can only do one or the other, okay? So it can either do positive pressure or it can do negative pressure, but it can't do both because I wanted to use it as a vacuum gauge and it wasn't working. And I was really peeved off that you couldn't use it as a vacuum gauge to data log stuff going up and down. Let's take that wrench off the crank. Very bad. Second thing is, it doesn't talk to any of the snap-on tools, like the Zeus or the Triton. A missed opportunity, snap-on. Really missed opportunity. You have to use an Android tablet or an Apple tablet or smartphone device that runs iOS or Android. Why you don't have an app built into your Triton or your Zeus? Boom. Like, it's not a bullet in the foot. It's not shooting yourself in the foot. That's shooting yourself in the damn brain. And doing it wrong to the point where, like, you just shoot where your eyeballs are and now you're blind. The brain still works. Now you're just walking around blind. You got to tell everybody you tried to shoot yourself in the head and you just shot your damn eyes out. But I bought it and I'm stuck with it. It's pretty cool for fuel pressure. I'll give it that. Your stream may be briefly interrupted. Okay. I don't know why it's telling me my stream's going to get interrupted, but it thinks so. But anyhow, here it is. We got it on the big screen. Vertical. There you go. See, I'm being nice to the vertical people today. And we're going to run this cranking compression test, and it's going to log every damn pump, which is one of the cool things. That's what sold me on this thing originally, was it's going to data log each pump of the piston so I can see the piston pressurizing. I'll show it to you when it's done. It's pretty cool. And then it puts it in a nice little report. So, I mean, that one thing it does, I like see a lot, and it's really nice for my customers to see, and they just don't have to go off of a chicken scratch on a work order. So, if you're a shop that does a lot of like engine repairs and you're selling head gaskets, this is worth investing in, okay? You got insurance investigators, this is worth investing in, because all your information is saved. It's digital. It's got the VIN number in it. You got the report on file. And it looks more believable than you just chicken scratching on a piece of paper saying, these are your numbers. So, that's my shake on it. Ugh. The hell was that? Is that my... That's a noisy throttle body. That might have also what I've been hearing too, that weird noise. That throttle motors. Okay, here we go. Foot on the accelerator. I got a jumper box going on the battery, all right, because I want to maintain constant power for all 4 cylinders. I also have all 4 spark plugs out, okay, because I want unanimous results all the way across the board. If I was only taking 1 spark plug out and then doing that with all the other spark plugs still in the system, and then took spark plugs out as I went along, I would have different readings, okay? My top end pressure might still be good, but the results of what I want to show you will be different, so... Oh, I gotta connect my device. Ooh. Bluetooth. There we go. Okay. Also keep in mind there are 2 versions of this digital gauge. There is the red one, which goes up to 500 psi, and then there's the gray one that goes up to 1000 psi. Of course, they came out with the gray one 2 years later. Get the gray one. Hang on a tick. I made a boo-boo. Always give your starter time to relax. Save. Please release the pressure. Go to cylinder number 2. All right. Now we got to go to cylinder number 2. Again, this will all be really, really cool when it's all done. After I get done taking the other 3 cylinders, you'll see why I like this tool for this task that it does. Again, the red version, okay, the Victor 700, that goes up to 500 psi. I mean, that's great for all your engines, okay? And you can do traditional automatic transmissions with it. But keep in mind, the term automatic transmission in CVT is getting thrown around as the same thing when it shouldn't. People are saying my car is equipped with an automatic when realistically it's a CVT. And why is that important? Well, because pressures for CVT, holy crap, they're like 900 psi. So your traditional automatic transmission gauges are not going to work on that. You're going to blow them up. Or if you have this digital one, you're going to break it. Uh-oh. We might lose the GoPro. I don't know why it's flashing at me. Something beeped at me on the GoPro. GoPro, I don't know what it is. So that's why I say get the gray one. Because then you can do all your engine stuff, and you can do the new CVT stuff, and you can do traditional automatic stuff. But again, another mark missed by Snap-on. How cool would it be to have this tool integrate with the engine PID data, right? How cool would that be? You know, you want to look at your transmission PID data, and then you want to see some actual line pressure with this wireless tool, and you can look at that on your Triton or your Zeus at the same time. Oh, missed opportunity. And that's how I feel about a lot of these Snap-on. God damn it. I'm fighting this thing and it won't come out. You want to know why? Because the adapter is probably left in there. Better be in there and not have fallen out. Yep, I grabbed onto something. That's good. Alright, crank it down. Knock it off. Let's see if I get her out of there. Hey, I got her back. Make sure you crank down these adapters really good. I had these custom ones made by Jarhead Diagnostics, so I don't have to worry about adapters falling out. But unfortunately, he does not have the option where you can get them with straighter valves in them for doing compression. They're only pass-throughs for using pressures, transducers, and leak downs. The guy can only do so much. He's got a good noodle on him. Check him out. Jarhead Diagnostics. I'm going to move these up here because something tells me that the magnet on that dumb thing. Alright, jump box is still on. Jump box is still on. Let's commence with cylinder number 2. Jump box problem? My jump box just timed out. Try this again. Great. Jump box is out of juice. I guess I didn't put it on the charger, or it doesn't charge correctly anymore. All very fun things. Yeah. Okay. We should be using this one anyways. Okay, let's go to jump start. Why do you not like me? We're seated correctly. This has the annoying clamps on here, where both sides of this clamp has to make good contact, or it doesn't believe you. Come on, we're friends. We're such good friends. Retry.